Welcome back to the channel, everybody. We're going to be hopping up inside of the LS MT573 Tractor Cab, and we're going to be taking a look at all the features that it has to offer. We're not going to go into too much detail on every single specific button and lever inside of the cab, but we are going to point out some of the major features that it has to offer, and maybe mention a few things that we wish they could have done better. Stay tuned and keep watching.
Well, as Jason said, we're going to be going over the inside of this cab, and we're going to show you everything we can on the inside of the cab. We're not going to get into too many specifics, but let's start with down on the floor here. We have the clutch pedal here. It does have a locking mechanism here in the back. I believe that maybe for service purposes. This is your lever for your steering column in order to tilt the steering column, and it also has locking brakes. It has a dual brakes on the other side over there, and it has a locking mechanism there that you can unlock and be able to use the brakes one at a time. It's for a lot of times I used to use that a lot in the field work when I was cultivating, especially. I would use that to make to basically make a turnaround. And then you do have your accelerator pedal. Moving on up the steering column, I told you that this has a tilt steering, and it does. But the thing about it is, it has 3 positions that you can lock it into. I prefer that it have a friction style steering column, and I don't think that I think LS could have done a little bit better job with that. It is nice having the tilting steering column, but I prefer that it was a friction. Moving on to the power shuttle, as we talked about before, this is your power shuttle lever, and this is for forward and this is for reverse. You do not have to use the clutch once you start using this power shuttle. Going across the front of the dash, we have 4 buttons. These 4 buttons, the first one is your beacon button. The tractor does not have a beacon on it, but you do have this beacon button, and if you want to add a light or something like that, you can do that with this beacon button. Next is going to be your DPF regen button. This here has 3 positions. One of them is basically a position that's an auto position where it will regen, and then if you go down with it, that will cancel the regen, or you can force a regen. I would just leave this button alone. Let it auto regen, guys. Don't turn this off, and don't stop your regen, especially if you're out doing work. The only time you need to stop that regen is if you're in a hay barn or something like that where there's a lot of dust and it starts to regen. You might want to maybe stop it, but then force it right after you get done. The other thing here, this is the lights. This is your front grille lights. This turns those on, and then finally this is your hazardous lights. So whenever you're out on the road and you're roading this tractor, you can turn on your hazard lights and move forward. So we have this automotive style light switch here. Again, this turns on headlights and the grille. It does have a horn button right here, and then you have the turn style here for turning your lights on, and it will turn on the I guess you can say the running lights and the headlights and so forth. It also has blinkers, so if you're roading this tractor, you have the blinkers to let people know where you're going. Moving down just a little bit, here's the key switch. It's just a standard key switch. It is one of the style of key switches where you do have the first notch here is for your glow plugs and for heating up if you need it. And then finally you turn this and you can let go of it and the tractor will start up. A lot of auto cars have that. So let's get started on the business side of this tractor. So we have our control panel here. The control panel is laid out fairly well, in my opinion. There's a couple little quirks that I don't like, but for the most part, it's not too bad. So anyways, you have your shifting knob here. This is for your 1 through 4 gears. On the front of the shifting knob, you do have a declutch button. So this tractor can be shifted from one to all through all the gears without hitting the clutch. So moving up here, we have our loader stick. This tractor does have a up and down and tilts functions on the bucket. Plus, it has the float position, and that way, doing loader work with the float positions allows that loader just to set up there with the weight of it and float across the ground. So moving down from the joystick, we have the throttle lever, and it's electronically done. There's no linkages, so it has a electronic switch that allows you to adjust the throttle. So we want to move across here to our remote system. On the remote system, you have the 3 different colors that go to the 3 different remotes. They all match in the back. So if you have a green, you're plugged into the green remote. You use this lever. If you're plugged into the blue remote, this lever, and the black remote, obviously. Now, this tractor does have a detent style levers in it. The first 2 have detent, but the second one, even though it has detent, also has a float mode. And so you have the float mode that's used for, I guess you could say, for things that you need to move around on the tractor in the back that need to float. And so it allows the fluids or the hydraulic fluids to move back and forth. I personally don't use it, but it is a feature that some people do use. It does detent in all positions. So then we have the third one. The third one as well has a float mode. It has the detent, and then it goes back to the neutral, and then it has the detent on the bottom side of it as well. Moving back from the remote levers, we have the PTO on and off. You push down on the PTO, pull up to start it, and then if you need to turn it off, you basically just push it down and it turns that PTO off. These switches that are right underneath the PTO, the first one here is your 4-wheel drive lever. And then the second one is the beginning of your cruise control, or what they call the cruise control. Basically, it sets RPMs up. We are going to go through the process of how all this works in some point in our videos, and we're going to show you how to set it and how to make it work. So let's just move down, because all this is together. This is all part of that system, but we're going to move on down. All right, so we're going to move off of these, and we're going to move back to these switches back here. So you have 2 wipers, one for the front, one for the rear. And these, if you push these and push them again and hold it, that's your water or your sprayer for your windshield wipers. Let's move back here. We got 2 sets of light switches. One of these is for the front cab lights and for the working lights on the front, and one of them is for the rear cab lights for the working lights back there. All right, moving from these switches to these switches. The first button here is your differential lock. You can block your differential in with that one. This one here, right here, is an auto button for your PTO. If you raise your 3-point up and have it in auto, the PTO will shut off. The big red button in the tractor, do not touch for now. This button right here, if you put it in the calibration mode, it does things that could mess up things. So just don't touch this button. Leave this for the service for now. We'll go into detail later. This one right here allows you to adjust the shuttle, shift, and the clutch and how hard they hit. We'll go into more detail about this one as well later. All right, moving from these switches over to here. This is your 3-point lift. This is your draft control, so you can set the draft control where you want it, and this is the lift for the 3-point system. But with that said, also you have this auto lift button or lever as well. And basically all that is, it says that you can have this in a certain position and you can lift it up, and then if you hit this button and drop it back down, the 3-point will drop to this level right here and no further down. It will not go to the bottom. Okay, we want to talk about this for just a moment. This is your parking brake. It does have to be up to get out of the seat, to get off the tractor. It does have to be up in order to start it. And that's all we need to talk about on that for now. So this knob down here, it's for your 3-point and how fast the 3-point drops and raises. So you need to know what this is, because it does have the plus minus on it. You can adjust the speeds of your 3-point system. So this is your creeper gear. So if you pull this up, it takes it into creeper. If you push it down, it goes back to normal. Now keep in mind that you must be stopped and you must have the clutch in to use the creeper gear, and it's only in medium and low range. You do not use this in high. All the way to the back here, you have this washer tank fill up. That's where you fill up for your washer fluid, for your windshield wipers, and so forth. And a lot of these are on the outside of the tractor, and I like the idea that they put it on the inside only because this is not getting sun beat. Sitting on the outside of the tractor, it does get sun beat. A lot of UV rays tear them up. Moving into this lever right here, this is your PTO lever. This is your 540 neutral, your 750, and your 1000. Remember, 1000 you need to change the shaft out on. This lever finally is your range lever. You do have a low, a neutral, your medium, and your high ranges. So you need to stop the tractor when you're shifting this. Do not shift this while you're rolling. Moving across a little bit, this is your glove box. It does have a glove box in it. Now guys, this thing is really cheesy. I would rather just forget about the lid. Give me the open spots, but the lid is really cheesy. So the back of the seat has a headrest. Basically, that headrest can lift or go down for your comfort. The armrests are adjustable. They have this little knob here on the bottom of it that adjusts it. It only moves the front of it up and down like this. It does not move the whole arm up and down, just the front for your comfort. So it has this lever down here. This lever, if you pull this lever, it allows you to turn the seat. It's about a 10-degree angle. It allows you to be able to see behind the tractor a little bit better if you're running an implement that you need to keep an eye on. It only twists one direction, though. It does only twist to the right. It does not twist to the left, which I kind of wish it did. This lever right here is your forward and reverse lever. You pull up on it and you can move the seat forward or backwards. And then this is an air ride seat, guys. I looked at several tractors that this was not a standard feature in. So you have your air ride seat that is able to move it up and down, give you a little bit more comfort level, and so forth. It does have a tilt function right here. You can tilt that seat forward and backwards. While we have that forward, though, I do want to show you another feature that the tractor has. This is your lumbar support, basically helping you with your back. And it moves that lumbar up and down for more comfort. As well, you have a place to store your manual if you need to want to hold that with you and read it while you're working. So up here is your AC controls. You do have the 4 levels of control. Now I've been using the AC and it's been 105 degrees, 109 degrees, and the AC works pretty good in this tractor actually. This is your positions for defrost and for what vents actually turn on and off in here. And then finally your lever for your thermostat control. So basically hot and cold. So the tractor has 6 vents in it. There are 4 vents, 2 on this side and 2 on the other side for the driver of the tractor to get airflow. And then it has 2 vents up here in the front. 2 vents in the front are made to adjust to basically blow that defrost on the windshield. I don't know what it's going to look like to blow the defrost on the windshield. I live in Central Texas, so we don't have that much cold weather. But I definitely need the air conditioning. This tractor came standard with a radio in it. There were several tractors that did not come with a radio in it, and you had to pay extra to get the radio. Now, I know radios nowadays are not that expensive, but still, having all the wiring in it, having the speakers in it, all that stuff, and having the radio in it means that's just another expense that I didn't have to put into the tractor. So this tractor actually has a Visa roof in it, or whatever. That's what we're going to call it today. Basically, you can slide this open, and you can see that it has a glass here in the top. Now, guys, this is real glass. I looked at a couple of tractors that was a acrylic or plastic, which made no sense to me. Central Texas will have that in pieces in just a short amount of time. I like the glass. Moving around here, it does have this lever here in order to be able to open this roof up. So if you need to, open that, there is a capability of doing it. And so on the front windshield, you do have this shade. I guess you could use it if you got the sun in your face or whatever it might be. But it's kind of like a sun visor. You have that. There's a button on the side, as you see, that you can raise it up and down. So it does have a rear view mirror in the tractor. The one thing I guess I will complain about it is the location of it is not in a really good spot. And the reason I say that is because whenever you put it in a position that you can see out the back of the tractor, you're basically looking at yourself. All right, so the last thing we're going to talk about on the inside of the cab is the floor mat. This has a regular rubber floor mat in it. Underneath this floor mat is a very, thick insulation foam, or it's some type of insulation they have under there. One gripe is that when you get in and out of this tractor, this right here, you can catch your foot on this and it can almost trip you. There's the insulation they're using underneath it. But this is also covering up quite a few things, wiring and other things such as your windshield wiper fluid. But this mat is pretty nice in here. I just don't like the fact that I can catch my foot as I'm getting in and out.
Alrighty guys, well, we just hopped out of this cab and taken a look at all the features that it had to offer. And like I said in the very beginning, we didn't go into too much detail on everything. This is just basically a walk around of the cab, just to show you what is in there to kind of get you started. We are going to go into more details, especially with some of the buttons and like that Cal Select feature that we talked about. We're going to get all of that covered under another video, but for today, we just wanted to show what the cab has to offer inside of it, kind of give you a walk around and so you can see everything. Now, if you're enjoying our content, please hit that like and subscribe button and stick around because there's more videos to come. Until next time, thanks.